The Walker County Sheriff's Department of Alabama, because, well, there are multiple Walker County Sheriff's Departments in this country, were called out on a welfare check. A gentleman there by the name of Tony Mitchell, he's a 33-year-old guy, was having a mental breakdown. Yes, he did shoot at the cops. Okay, fine. They were able to put him in cuffs. They were able to put him in the jail. What they have done have led to seven correctional officers, actually eight correctional officers, and one nurse contracted to the jail have all pled guilty to federal charges related to Mitchell losing his life. Why did he lose his life? Because they decided that since he was having a mental breakdown and he did something that somebody with a mental breakdown would do, they were going to treat him like garbage. They forced him into a cell naked in which he was cold, wet, he was covered in his own feces. This story is sick. I keep talking about if you go back to my videos, I talk about the fact that psychiatric help should be put inside of prisons so that these people who are inmates, whether they're prisons or jails for that matter, intake some there should be somebody with psychiatric training there and not an officer. No, an actual psychiatrist or psychiatric nurse that can tell that a person is having mental issues. But I've got four videos here. They're all going to tell the story of what happened to Tony Mitchell. Now, this isn't going to make the people that are sycophants of law enforcement happy to hear this story, but oh well. Also, help me out. Hit like and subscribe. It would help me out greatly, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Rumble. Here we go.
Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
Now, breaking news.
And that breaking news, the death of Walker County Jail inmate Tony Mitchell has been ruled a homicide.
You may remember the footage from January 2023. Mitchell being carried out of the jail at Walker Baptist Hospital. Doctors noting his body temperature was 72 degrees. ABC 3340 Cynthia Gould is joining us now with the latest developments. Cynthia?
Well, Brenda, this death certificate sent to us just after 4 o'clock this evening. The cause of death, hypothermia. The underlying cause of death is listed as sepsis resulting from infected injuries obtained during incarceration and medical neglect. Now, Mitchell's family received this death certificate today. His sister, speaking through tears, told us by phone she is just too emotional at this point to comment. Community activist Ryan Cagle says the death certificate reveals what we've known to be true since day one. Cagle told us he hopes this means everyone involved in Mitchell's death will be held accountable. Right now, they are planning a rally at the jail. In a written statement, Sheriff Nick Smith said tonight he has been dedicated to transparency, providing all video footage and documents to the FBI and SBI. He said the recently completed autopsy brings us closer to uncovering the truth. The full autopsy, though, those details have not been shared with us. In the newsroom, Cynthia Gould, ABC 3340 News.
Well, Jarvis, this is former Walker County Jailer Joshua Jones's plea agreement. It offers a play-by-play of how Tony Mitchell's health deteriorated inside a small concrete Walker County holding cell. Chilling details about how prosecutors believe Jones and others ignored Mitchell's welfare and why. By the time Walker County deputies carried Tony Mitchell to a patrol vehicle on January 26, 2023, prosecutors argue it was too late. In his plea agreement, former Walker County jailer Joshua Jones admitted their neglect proved deadly. The court record offered graphic details of Mitchell's 2 weeks in custody. He was almost always naked, wet, cold, and covered in feces while lying on the cement floor without a mat or blanket, the agreement read. Mitchell had been arrested after the sheriff's office claimed he had fired a gun at deputies dispatched to check on him. As Mitchell's health deteriorated, prosecutors argued deputies used that shooting as an excuse for ignoring Mitchell's needs. Expletive him. He gets what he gets since he shot at cops, or words to that effect. Ultimately, a nurse urged deputies to take Mitchell to the hospital or he could die, which he did not long after arriving at Walker Baptist Medical Center. His plea agreement goes on to say, Defendant Jones admitted that collectively we did it. We killed him. And today, Jones's lawyer hinted there are more arrests to come. I expect this is the tip of the iceberg, and in the coming weeks, you will see other individuals charged for the death of Anthony Mitchell due to the actions and inactions of employees of the Walker County Sheriff's Office. Walker County Sheriff Nick Smith would not comment on Jones's plea. Smith and his department still face a wrongful death lawsuit Mitchell's family filed. Now, Tony Mitchell's sister tells us after 18 months of misery, they are beginning to feel hope that justice will be served. Joshua Jones will make his first court appearance 2 weeks from yesterday. Karen Kelly filed this complaint after she claims she was fired for blowing the whistle on Tony Mitchell's demise. Now she's the second former Walker County jailer to sign a plea deal. Tony Mitchell died after being held for 2 weeks at the jail in January of 2023. Prosecutors argue the lack of care while being held in what's called the drunk tank factored into his death. Kelly worked 8 night shifts during Mitchell's time in the cell. She claims to be the one who leaked the video we have, there you see it, showing deputies carrying Mitchell's motionless body on the day he died. This agreed to plead guilty for her role in the case. Today, her lawyer, Brett Bloomston, said, my client has accepted full responsibility for her minimal role in this tragic death. The culture of the Walker County Jail was such that she could do little to help this inmate without fear of reprisal. Now, news of Kelly's plea comes a day after another former Walker County jailer was in court. Joshua Connor Jones has also signed a plea deal in connection with Mitchell's death. His lawyer predicted at least half a dozen more arrests in the case. Joshua Jones's guilty plea date has not been set yet. Karen Kelly will make her first federal court appearance on September the 12th.
Welcome back into the CBS 42 News at 4. I'm Carly Lang. We are following breaking news this afternoon. A former Walker County Sheriff's deputy pleads guilty to 2 counts of deprivation of rights against Tony Mitchell. Deputy Carl Carpenter originally pleaded not guilty in this case in March. CBS 42's Maddie McQueen was in the courtroom today. She joins us now live from the Hugo Black Courthouse. Maddie, you talked with Carpenter's attorney today after court. What are they saying?
Yeah, Carly, I spoke with Carl Carpenter's attorney earlier, Robert Tootin, and he said that Carpenter changed his plea because he thought it would be in his best interest to change that plea to guilty. Now, Carpenter signed a plea agreement with the U.S. government, which details what happened. According to the plea agreement, while arresting Tony Mitchell in January of 2023, Carpenter allegedly stomped on his genitals while he was handcuffed behind his back and threw him into a patrol car, reportedly then watching Mitchell be kicked in the legs by the other deputy. Carpenter and the other deputy allegedly agreed to lie to federal investigators about what happened. And this situation reportedly started after a mental health welfare check on Mitchell.
I'm afraid this case is a sad example of what happens most of the time when mental health and law enforcement intersect. It just results in a big train wreck. And it usually has to be cleaned up in court, and it's very sad, but a lot of times law enforcement's not equipped to handle issues involving people that have mental health problems, and it's just a sad situation for everybody involved.
Now, we have reached out to Walker County Sheriff Nick Smith for comment about this plea, but we have yet to hear back. Carpenter will remain on bond until his sentencing, and the judge said that that sentencing date will come in a separate order. Reporting live in Birmingham, Maddie McQueen, CBS 42 News.
This is a sick and sad story. Like I said, so far as of this was February 7th, 2025. There has been another one, as you saw in that last one Another deputy has pled guilty. So that's what, 9 that have pled guilty? This arrest was January 12th, 2023. Since then, this sheriff's department has been losing officers. Why? Because they couldn't take basic precautions when it came to somebody. Okay, yes, he did shoot a firearm more than likely. But you know what? He was having a mental breakdown. If you had people there with psychiatric training that could go, hey, perhaps we need to get this guy some help. And I'm sure that after he got the help, that he'd be willing to take whatever punishment that the judge gave to him. But you keep him locked away for as long as he was locked away. This is pathetic. Man had sepsis and hypothermia. This is just denied medical attention, almost always naked, wet, cold, covered in feces while lying on a cement floor without a mat or blanket for 2 weeks. Was he not taken to a judge to have a bond hearing? This was to justify more funding for the jail. Shoemaker was instructed to manufacture terrible conditions to use Mitchell and his cell as a prop when County Commissioner visited the jail 2 days before Mitchell passed away. Unnamed jailer who was unaware of the plan cleaned out garbage and old food from Mitchell's cell. Shoemaker berated this jailer. Shoemaker then convinced a different inmate to act crazy when the commissioner visited the plea deal read and rewarded that unnamed inmate with honey buns for his behavior. This is an extortion scheme thrown into a murder plot gone bad. Wasn't even supposed to be a murder plot, but that's what it turned into. Originally, it was just a, hey, let's be stupid. You need psychiatric help with these police departments, and they don't need to be directly responsible to the sheriff, as it turns out in a lot of cases. You need people that are doing their Hippocratic oath and making sure that these inmates are not committing crimes because they're mentally incompetent. This could have been avoided. But okay. One last thing, if you don't mind, I'm trying to raise $3,000 to present y'all with better quality videos and better research and everything. If y'all don't mind, if you're on YouTube, I have memberships. If you're on Facebook or Rumble, or if you're wanting to try this via YouTube, I have a link tree attached to this that has a Patreon link in there. If you could help me out with a couple of bucks a month, it would really be helpful. But like I said, like and subscribe will help just as well. This has been Paul with the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now. Bye.